80% of the population supports her.
But the nation may just have lost sight of becoming a serious global superpower.
Brazil's economy is changing and its people are changing with it.
So election season this year has been spectacular.
Well, we're just walking into what's called the favela of the rabbits.
Brazil is the 5th most populous country on the planet and the most influential power in Latin America. But the nation may just have lost sight of becoming a serious global superpower due to a recent downturn in their economy. So how powerful is Brazil? Well, Brazil does have the strongest military in South America, but on a global scale, it ranks behind Italy and Egypt. And despite Brazil being only slightly geographically smaller than the US, it has less than a quarter of the troops the US has. The armed forces have around 500 tanks and over 1,300 armored fighting vehicles. And recently, the government struck a $5.4 billion deal with Saab to equip them with 36 new fighter jets. That being said, Brazil's armed forces are currently not engaged in any major military action.
Now, President Dilma Rousseff has spent the whole week dealing with developments in a corruption scandal which threatens to undermine her entire government.
Brazil's Supreme Court has approved an investigation into some of the country's top politicians. They're accused of taking bribes in exchange for lucrative oil contracts from the state-run oil company Petrobras.
And then you thought your career was ruined when you talked to President Franco, and he asked you to become finance minister, and I guess to this day, Mr. President, you have not accepted that position yet.
Yes.
I think it's a fascinating story with President Franco asking then Foreign Minister Cardoso to become finance minister. But at the time, tell us a bit about developing the Real plan. We have some distinguished bankers here who will give their own versions that I'm sure and their own questions. But the Real plan, how it developed, because that really was the catalyst in many ways for your presidential campaign, when people could eat chickens twice a week, as it used to be the popular saying.
Brazil's economy is changing and its people are changing with it. Over the past decade, more than 40 million Brazilian citizens have entered the middle class. This emerging class, known as Class C, currently makes up more than half of the population and wields significant power. So what is Brazil's Class C and how is it changing Brazil? The classes are ranked from A to E and were originally used as descriptors for marketing research. The wealthiest group, Class A, earns more than $3,365 per month, while the poorest, Class E, earns less than $336. And in between, you've got Class C, making between $700 to $1,700 per month. That may not seem like middle-class material in the United States or Europe, but in Brazil, it's pretty substantial. Brazil's income inequality has been staggeringly high. We're talking apartheid-like conditions where the poor live in favelas and the wealthy in the city.
100 cities across Brazil have seen a fresh wave of mass protests, while the first death has been reported among the demonstrators in the state of Sao Paulo. Reports say the anti-government rally amassed a staggering 1 million people. When activists in Rio de Janeiro attempted to approach the city hall, they were met by police with tear gas and rubber bullets. Dozens of people were left injured following the clash. Crowds that gathered in the capital, Brasilia, received the same treatment from the authorities, and President Dilma Rousseff has cancelled a visit to Japan to deal with the crisis.